Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Robert Reives, and I'm here to give you my failure story. I'm here mostly because of my job as a representative, I would expect. I represent Chatham County. I've been doing that for 11 years now. Represent the District 54, which is all of Chatham County and a small portion of Randolph County. Also, in my day job, I'm an attorney because that's the only way I can pay bills because as state representatives, we only get paid $13,000 a year. So of course I need another job to make sure that I'm able to make ends meet. And my failure stories come from my practice of law, but I'm gonna give you two failure stories because my first failure story is strictly to do with my practice of law. My second failure story has to do with my law practice, but it really was a failure story in politics and how both of them worked out. So my first failure story was a case that I tried. When I first got out of law school, I worked as a prosecutor or an assistant DA for 5 years and really enjoyed it. There's a lot of good that you're able to do from that office, a lot of great things that you can accomplish, ways that you can help people really on both sides of the aisle in that situation, both the defense and prosecutor's office and the victims, of course, because when it comes down to it, what you are is a person who is seeking justice. And so I'd had a really good streak. We had a small assistant DA's office. And so, of course, we had to try a lot of jury trials. So I ended up trying a whole lot of jury trials in my first couple of years. And the one that stuck with me the most was when I first left Harnett County to go to Lee County. We're all the same district, same office, but just different home offices. So I was prosecuting in Lee County and I'd gotten this case. And so we had this guy that just was constantly doing stuff. He was committing robberies, doing all kinds of things. And so he had robbed, in our belief, a local Chinese restaurant. And this was the only Chinese restaurant we had in town. They were the first Chinese family that I think we'd had located in Sanford. And I'm from Sanford, North Carolina. And so it was, it was being a small town and the type of robbery it was pretty intense. The owner also worked there all the time, from opening to night. And so he was injured during this process. But the guy that did the robbing got away. So what we were able to do is his girlfriend would always come in and kind of set the scene, scope the place, and kind of set up whoever they were going to rob. And then, of course, he would come running in and robbing. And we knew who she was, and we were able to identify her. So we ended up trying her. And of course, we wanted the boyfriend. She wouldn't give him up, so we had to have a trial. So we tried the case, tried the best we could, but without him, we really couldn't prove that she had done anything conspiratorially because we could not show an overt act that she had committed in order to help the robbery go forward. So tried a good case, everybody witnessed, and my heart really went out to this family because it's their only source of income. And again, being one of the few Asian families that we had in town, really wanted to do a good job for them. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, it was a not guilty. And we never were able to get the boyfriend for that. And so I felt terrible. That was probably, I think at that time, only my second not guilty that I'd gotten out of jury trial. Only got 3 the whole time I was prosecuting. And this one was tough. The other 2 I knew why we got not guilty. Here I just felt bad because I really, really wanted to get justice for this family. So I felt bad. The detectives felt bad and everyone felt bad. So after the trial, I had, of course, to talk to the family and let them know what had happened, why it had happened, and what the not guilty meant. And to this day, I've not had a more appreciative group of people and a more appreciative family, and specifically the owner, than they were, because what they cared about is that I fought for them, that I tried really hard and I did the best. And they were there every day for the trial, and they felt happy because they felt they've been heard, they've been seen, and I'd really put the effort in, and all of us had put our effort in. And so from that point, anything I ever needed, anytime I came in, he treated me like a king. He was just always wonderful to me until the day he finally retired and closed that restaurant down. And that taught me something about trials, that it wasn't always about the guilties and the not guilties. It was about trying your hardest. It was about trying to do your very best for whoever you're working on. And I do believe that helped me, especially once I went to private practice, create a successful law practice. So that's my first failure story. Just always remember, people want to know that you make an effort for them, whatever your job is. My second failure story also has to do with my law office or law practice, but it taught me something about politics. So while I was still in the DA's office, I was 26 years old. I was about a year and a half out of law school. and I got nominated to be a judge. We had a position open up, and I was able to get nominated for that. And the Lee County Bar, which we were a three county district, we were Lee County, Harnett County, which the county seats Lillington, and then some of you have also heard of Dunn, and Johnston County, which is a really large county. In fact, it's still one of our largest counties, and the county seat Smithfield. So I got nominated. The Lee County Bar got really in behind me, and a lot of guys in Harnett County too who had a chance to know me. And at 26, I would have been the youngest judge that we had in the district. I would have been our first African American judge, and so it was a really, really big deal. So we go through the process, and I actually got the call from the governor that I got the position, that he was going to appoint me to the position. Well, that's when I learned about politics. And so a lot of things happened, a lot of calls were made, a lot of discussions were had. And so finally, Smithfield, Johnson County came up with what I would just say, was a compromise candidate. And so they got an older attorney because they were concerned about my youth, coming from DA's office, that type of thing. So the governor called me to tell me, look, I had made the decision to appoint you, but, with all the pushback and all the discussion, we've decided to appoint somebody else. And two great things came out of that. One, the guy that was appointed is one of my favorite people ever, one of the best judges I ever had a chance to deal with. He's passed away now, but he is the person that we needed to have as our first African-American judge. His reputation was impeccable. He carried himself in such a great way. And the fact that he had been practicing so long, I think he understood the moment much better than I ever could, because at that time I didn't know what to do. I mean, now I know, being in politics, that you go out here and you campaign and you talk to people and you call people and really try to push. And I didn't do any of those things. Everything that I had came from the support that I had from other folks. Secondly, and most importantly, by not becoming a judge then, I ended up in the position I am now, where similarly, I got called and asked to seek an appointment. I was chosen for the appointment. This time got to keep it. Ran for office after that, and I've been able to be in this position for 11 years. And of course, for the last 3 cycles, I've been the Democratic leader in the state house. That does not happen if I become a judge. And I've had a lot of success with my law practice and my personal life and things I just couldn't have done as a judge. So that turned out to be a blessing and a great thing. So again, sometimes you think you know what you want, but when a door closes, and I know you guys have heard this all before, but it's really true. When one more door closes, a lot of times that means God's opening up another door for you. So those are my failure stories. Hope you guys learned something from it. Thank you for allowing me to share these with you, and hope everybody has a good evening.